We're going to start, and the time is about 6:06. Call to order. Lorraine Hain?
Here.
Rigoberto Juarez? Okay. Donald?
Here.
Damon?
Here.
Jason?
Here.
Karen? Out. Rabina? Here. We're going to do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the
Go ahead.
Texas flag.
Flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All righty. Are there any public comments? I know. Okay, all righty. Manvel Economic Development Corporation will convene into executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.087, the deliberation regarding economic development negotiations to discuss the following. Discuss economic development incentives request from Manvel Retail LLC. And the time is 6:08. We'll convene. The meeting is readjourned and the time is reconvene, at 6:45. I'll just do that. Okay.
No action taken.
And no action was taken during executive session. What did I do with my paper? Okay, then I'll go to the second page, excuse me. Okay. Then do the regular agenda. Regular agenda. A, consideration and possible action on project application 2023-01 Manvel Retail LLC. Now,
And then if you guys have any questions for the applicant, or if she has any for y'all?
the applicant, you're here? You have any questions for us?
No, I've never been to one of these, so I don't know what to expect.
And y'all can ask questions.
And we could ask questions. Do you have any, we have questions for you? Would you like to come up to the podium? Thank you. Both of you can come if you're together. Yes, okay. And if you can explain what your ask is, that would be wonderful.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
So you do not currently have a lease coming for a restaurant in that area? You have two people leaving and two empty spaces?
Right, we'll have two empty spaces. Mark Lowe, who is my broker with Manvel Realty, he is marketing the space, and hopefully, and it doesn't have to be a restaurant. It could be another establishment that could possibly use a grease trap.
Gotcha.
Okay, but we definitely know the donut shop is needing the grease trap, okay?
So currently, they're the only ones who need it
They're
per,
currently the only
Yeah.
ones that are going to be needing it because, as I said, the nutrition, they're relocating.
gotcha.
But they're relocating, their lease is at the end of January.
Okay, and then you had one that might be breaking their lease.
She's
Yes.
already working.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, thanks for coming. Have you guys done any studies on what the requirement for just the donut shop would be from a gallon standpoint? Because I know you're putting in a 500, which I believe is our minimum, correct? Of what, that's a TCEQ? Did we hear that somewhere? Somebody gives you a requirement per establishment. Have you gotten a requirement just for the donut shop?
Tammy, you may be able to help me with this. We were told when the plumber bid the job, okay, and we talked to, I think her name is Danielle. Is it Danielle? Okay. And she told us that the 500 gallon would be sufficient. This is a 5,000 square foot center. And she said the 500 gallon would be what would be required. So we didn't do studies for that, but we were relying on her to tell us what we needed. And she said a 500 would be what we would need.
Yeah. My concern would be that another restaurant came in and then that 500 wouldn't be enough. Have you done any research to know if that's possible or not?
The way that she described it is she said that's more than enough if you had to use it even for the whole center.
Okay.
Is what she said.
Okay. Sure.
Because it's a small center. Yeah. Yes, sir.
I have a question. Do you have any idea why that other tenant broke the lease? Is it because of cost? Is it because
Yes, she had been, it was called Kinky Curly Straight Hair Salon. Her mother passed away after a very long illness about 60 days ago. She had been struggling a lot to pay the rent before that, and she just, I guess emotionally is saying, I just can't do this right now.
And the other one?
And the other one, without going into a lot of detail, had an extremely contentious relationship with my tenant, okay? And I have decided to give him a non-renewal.
That's a nutrition.
Yes, I have decided to give him a non-renewal based on that relationship.
Good evening. I'm just curious, why did you said the plumber haven't finished yet? Did he give you a reason? What's the issues going on?
They had,
Can I get a motion on the percentage that we will do from us, right? Yeah. Is anyone who would like to make a motion? Go ahead.
I make a motion that we start with the 50%.
I second that.
And direct staff
And
start
direct-
the process with the publication and communication for further information.
And we're directing the staff to go ahead with the publication for the notice, excuse me. Okay? So,
okay.
you
So
have,
I'm trying to understand what you just voted on.
oh, okay, what you did
Make a
was,
motion for 50%?
50, right, here, what you filled out, if you look down at the bottom, you had a share of the cost to be paid by the applicant. Okay, then they had the 10%, the 25%, or the 50%.
Correct.
And that's what it was, we were just talking about. We made a motion for, and it was passed, so. That's,
You can get second.
second, we got a second, vote.
still gotta-
I'm sorry, we have to vote.
And
So,
you get
one second.
We got
We did get a
second.
second, he said
Yeah, we
second.
still got to vote.
Can we vote? Can I get hands for agreement on this? All agreement, all is agreement, okay. All right, thank you.
So much.
Okay.
I do have a question, if I could, if
Yes,
that's possible. The tenant, the donut shop, is going to be asking questions about how long that takes, because we haven't paid the plumber yet, because they haven't finished the work. So obviously, he has a large portion of this that he's paying as well.
Well, well, we're going to ask that you have a co-application with the tenant, because the way this works is linked to creation of jobs, which also retention of jobs counts.
Okay.
And there was a statement that, I guess the tenant might not be able to stay if they don't get this fixed and such. So that's the basis for it. And there has to be an agreement signed where you agree to make whatever capital contribution,
The balance.
well, yeah, no, you have to make the expenditure, and you have to create or retain the jobs. Well, since they don't work for you, you can't really sign off on promising the job. So I was going to suggest a co-application and a contract where both of you would sign, because if the expenditure never gets made, if you run off to Brazil tomorrow with the money, or if the employees, if the guy shuts down and there's not that employment, then actually you have to get the money back.
Okay.
And that's in the agreement. So the money technically, I think, would go to both of you, and I don't know how you work that out amongst the two of you, but it's designed to go to both, and you both sign off. You promise to put the expenditure of whatever it takes to put it in, I guess. They promise to retain the employees.
So he needs to fill out one of these applications also, because I think originally, Tammy, you told me he didn't have to fill it out. So, or you told me I was the one that needed to fill it out.
So it was whoever was going to be paying, if the two applicants were going to be applying individually, that was one option, or the other option was for the landowner or the property owner to apply, which was the one you went with. Because if I'm not mistaken, this total, you were fronting the largest amount up front to get it done so the tenants could stay in there.
Yeah, I am paying 60% of the actual grease trap itself. The donut shop is paying 40% of that cost, and he's paying his tie-in. Yeah, because they have to go underneath to tie in to the actual grease trap.
So the 40% that he's paying is part of that 14,000 that you put as the total, or there's?
Right, the whole total is the 14,427. He's paying 40% of the grease trap itself, which is around, that's about $4,200, plus the 3,800. Okay.
So I think the intent was whatever the combined cost was, we pay half, and if the remainder is 60/40 of the remainder, then that, we didn't want to pay your half, and then they still got to pay their 60%. We were trying to.
I'm really more concerned about his expenses on here, just because, we have a new donut shop in the area and that kind of stuff, and so this is a big expense for him. So that was the main reason. Very, very grateful for the help. So, okay.
So just to follow up, the email that I sent you, there were some dates in there and some time frames. This is not it's not a quick process.
Correct.
It's a timely process. So that email I sent, those are kind of the time frames should the board have taken the action that they did, which is the action that you wanted this evening. So it will follow that same schedule that I sent
I'll
you.
look at the schedule and everything, but you're saying I need to go ahead and have him fill out an application and file, no?
We didn't need an application from him. We were just going to get information from him on,
Well,
correct?
what we do need, I guess, is some sort of follow-up, whether it's email, letter, application, amended application. We need to know how many jobs are going to be retained, because that's the number that has to go in the contract. So whether 6 people work there, 10 people, I don't know how many people work there.
I'll
But-
have to, I think it's more of a family operation, but I can get that information
So-
for you, and Tammy, I can get you a letter if that's what you need.
And let them know that we're going to put in there that, for 6 months, you've got to retain all of your employees for 6 months, or you got to give the money back.
Okay.
And they're going to have to sign off on that contract, and y'all have to sign off on the contract.
Okay,
So.
okay, okay.
Okay.
Thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's good. B, consideration and possible action to authorize board members to attend the 2023 Economic Development Sales Tax Workshop on November 17th, 2023.
This one, I sent the email out to everybody when I got it, to give you a heads up and kind of get an idea of who wanted to attend. You do have training money in your budget. So far, the ones that have replied that were interested are Jason, Lorraine, and Damon. And Rigo. It is going to be on November the 17th. It's over by Hobby Airport. It's like from 8 to 4.
Okay, we'll get down with that. Please.
It's a Friday. The only thing is with new board members, the way that it works, whether it's a city board or y'all's board, your board budgets for it, you guys would approve it, the board pays for it. But if you don't go and we can't get reimbursed, then we expect you to reimburse us for it. So a few had mentioned it way back when I first sent it out, but because it was, September 19th when I did that, I just want to confirm before we pay the money and get you registered that each of you, Jason, Lorraine, Damon, Rigo, and Robina, would want to attend, and then your action tonight is just authorizing me to register you guys.
What is the cost of the registration? Do we have to?
It is, I don't have it on this print. I want to say it's like $200.
Tammy, is there a budget for staff as well, or would that come out of our budget separately, or?
So, no, in the past, what we've done, if staff has gone representing, the only reason staff would go would be because they have a role in
Well,
what's
certain
going
staff
on with
members are
economic
required to get the
development.
training every 2 years, and I'm one of them that has to get it, and I guess we don't have a,
So in the past, the EDC has paid for the staff level as well. They paid for me to go several years back. Several years back, you had gone, and it was done through the EDC.
okay, well, we can talk about that, but I might be markup interested, I guess. I need to check calendar and all that, right?
Okay. So I can send us, depending on your action tonight, it won't be till later in the week that I would do the registrations. I can send you all the amount and give you all one final time to be like, oh, yeah, 100%, or, whoa, that's a lot of money. I'm not sure if I can commit to that, if that works.
I think it works.
Okay.
Motion?
But the action tonight would definitely be to authorize me to,
Make a motion.
Authorize. Make a motion?
oh, I can't make a motion.
No, I said.
Oh, yeah.
I'll make a motion to authorize Tammy to get the ball rolling, to send us everybody that wants to go to the EDC meeting.
Perfect.
Okay. Vote. Okay, can I see the hands to approve? All in favor? Aye. All approved.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. Okay. Discussion update on current and future proposed MEDC projects. Dan?
Well, we're prepared because we're not really super active, and actually that's, in a lot of ways, that's a good thing because we've committed 90% of our sales tax to a big project to make a big splash, and a lot of cities that do that, are really not as active because it's already committed. And to give you a little bit of update on that, there's still discussion about the 160 acres and the city center and trying to create some sort of city center for us because we really don't have a heart of the city, quote unquote. And the ball fields and all the economic development that the studies said that the ball fields would bring in, and that's still a little bit under discussion. And if you remember, like 90%, which I guess is getting close to like $1 million a year now, committed from the EDC is going to go to pay for infrastructure for that. Not only are the ball fields supposed to bring in, like $60 million worth of sales to the city, of economic activity to the city per year. So that's obviously ties into what we do in attracting business and such here. Most likely, that money was probably going to be part of a bond issue or pledged if this council goes forward for a wastewater treatment plant. the costs have risen from originally, what, 25 million for the wastewater treatment plant to close to 40 now. Everybody's seeing cost increases for construction. Everything's gone up. So we're looking at a major expenditure, and I guess $1 million a year would go quite heavily to the bonds that would be used to finance that, which would help a lot of people and help develop, the rest of the city, basically. So still being discussed, still needs a lot of council action and activity. And in the meantime, I guess the city's banking or it's probably still an MEDC's fund, but it's being banked so that it's going to be ready to go. And it's still targeted and still on track until we hear otherwise to make this big splash that MEDC is committed to.
So Robina's question is about the ball fields, if that's still moving forward.
Well, we've gotten, 10, 11 different configurations from architect about the way the ball fields would be configured. Council's taken action and approved one. So until the new council goes in a different direction, we're still under, I guess, the auspices that we're going forward with what is already on the books until we hear otherwise. So, and as staff, we really can't comment on, where we think that's going to go. That's really going to be up to the council. And I think that's going to be, now they've gotten through the tax rate and budget, probably one of the next big discussions, because the wastewater treatment plant is going to have to get started pretty quickly if we're going to do it.
Does it change the project scope if they don't go forward?
Well, we listed every potential project thing under the 5 chapters that you could possibly use that money for. The biggest one being, infrastructure, targeted infrastructure, but also you could use it for ball fields. That's one of the specific listed uses. So we listed on our project notice every potential thing. We went through it all and spent a lot of time so that we have as much variety of use as possible. But it may just be that one, and that's, it's going to take that much money to get this started.
But it is safe to say that the 160 acres really can't be developed without the wastewater treatment plant getting developed first. So we don't have anywhere to send that wastewater regardless of what we develop it as. So it's still, sort of a prerequisite, if you will, that we need to do that first. We're pretty good on water right now. For the first time in a long time, people have been asking, why aren't we under water restrictions? Well, we actually have. That's a scary thing to say, but we have enough water reserves right now that we haven't had to go into drought conditions.
So it's not the elevated tower that, I thought Bobby said it was for the elevated tank. Where did I hear elevated storage tank?
Where's that going to be? I don't know.
Did I make that up?
No, just east of the Toyota dealership.
So they're going to have the entrance through the, like, in Toyota, it's going to be the entrance?
And also Blue Water Lakes will go straight up to it.
Okay.
And since you mentioned it, the elevated storage tank is just to the north of the Toyota dealership. So they're all kind of right there.
Okay.
The wastewater treatment plant, which is not as exciting, is basically pretty much right where it's at right now, where the concrete plant is, kind of right there in that area on Corporate, by where you go to vote, at the annex, just down that little street. Mm-hmm.
Is the city going to be involved in development, or is a private developer doing that?
Which one?
The field.
Oh, the 160 acres. Well, that's a big. That's the question, right? Is how is it actually going to get developed? Because there's a lot of upfront costs, of course, right? Regardless of what you do with it. So there's lots of conceptual plans out there, and really, really amazing as the BDD4 engineer calls them, cartoons, because whenever they're, to engineers, they're just kind of, the clouds and everything. So they're, right now, that's the position that they're in. So we need to go the next step. And like Bobby mentioned, we're going to have to go back to council, because we've got a completely new council now, and see which, are we pushing forward like the plan, or, are we modifying, are we changing that a little bit? So.
Okay. And then there's one more, kind of, that covers the current projects you guys have. And then for the proposed, obviously you've got the one that was presented tonight. And then I did receive an email today from an applicant that is looking to purchase the property that Culling Law Office operate out of across the street. They were wanting to see if we had anything in place for assistance for signage. you used to have a project that you guys did for replacing pole signs down Highway 6 because the city doesn't allow them any longer. So the intent was to encourage business owners to expense part of the funds, and you guys would commit the rest of the funds to get rid of that pole sign and put a monument sign or a digital nice sign, like what's over next door at Little Rascals.
Right,
That's a project you guys took on. So there's two different ways for this one that could come forward. You guys can either take action, not tonight, to restart the grant process for signage and just do a longer time frame instead of the short one that has already expired, and then that applicant or business would then come and fall under that process. Or if you don't want to extend it like that, they could come, I guess, and apply for beautification purposes for their signage, I guess, Bobby, without that, just as a individual project.
Well, it was kind of it's designed as kind of a grant project to help all of the business owners, and, thinking there was some synergy in creating jobs. To do that for one, it's a little bit harder, but, we could probably look through the code and see if we could find something. But typically, it's the same thing, jobs and capital, to improve the business.
Okay.
So we can do that again.
I have a question about that. Would that be only for replacements of signs? Because that's what it was before, right? It was to replace pole signs with monument signs, which was kind of a double-edged, get the pole signs out and help get new signs. What about new signs? Like there's a business there, doesn't have a sign. At the time, do we help with that, or was there ever anything for that, or
That was
did we do that?
it was actually called the Pole Sign Replacement Grant Program.
Yeah.
So if you're new in town, you just.
You don't fall under that.
You don't get anything for that.
Now, if you're coming to town and if you're deciding whether Manvel or Iowa Colony or Alvin, and you're coming and you say, but man, this sign cost is what's doing me in, and I'd like some money and an incentive to come here instead of there. Yes, kind of all depends on the facts thing. You have to kind of look at each application like that.
I feel like our job is to try to get businesses here, right? And if it takes helping with a sign, well, then let's help with signs, right? Shouldn't that be the way that we're thinking about it?
If it's phrased like that, like I said, depending is part of the packaging. Hey, I'm already here and I just want to, help. Well, we're not really here for that aspect, but we're here to help people come here and thrive and create jobs, and, if it's phrased like that.
So that one, then I can put on the next meeting agenda for you guys I'll email out the previous project process that was approved, and then you guys can discuss it at the next meeting, and if the direction is to start the process back up, there's a few tweaks that would need to be made to the agreement, and then it's not a quick fix. It's, we will start the clock, publish it, wait the 60 days, and then applicants will come in and apply one by one. And it was kind of a tiered, it wasn't 100% replacement cost. There was some cost to the property owners as well. The intent was to replace pole signs, so they would beautify their property with a nice monument sign, and you reimbursed up to a certain amount. I'll email that out to everybody. Okay.
Also, on the topic of future projects, did we ever get the last application that we had that they were trying to clear some things up? Have we heard anything
No,
back from them with the city?
not for a project that I know of yet.
That was the one on the southwest corner of 288 and Highway 6? Mm-hmm. No, we did just have an updated meeting with them last Thursday. They're still, trying to figure out, I guess, sort of courting different potential tenants there. Or I shouldn't say tenants, businesses. So that they haven't landed on exactly which one or ones are going to go there yet. But it was good to hear from them that they're still moving forward, because it had been since June or so that we had heard anything. But it looks like they're moving forward. Obviously, with HEB about to open across the street, that going to get a lot of traffic right there. a lot more traffic.
That's my thought process, is that that gets going, and they're going to want to develop that really quickly. And I remember that was a big ticket item, so I don't know what we would do as a group on that. But if somebody comes to us with a several $100,000 project like that, that's not something that I don't think has happened around here in quite a while.
Southwest corner of 28.
Right across from HEB, basically.
Yeah, it's for sale, it's for sale right now. I talked to the group there. I had a buyer that wanted to buy a small piece, they didn't want to subdivide it, so. Yeah, they do have it for sale. She owns a lot of property on this side as well.
And there's no action for that one, it was just discussion.
Next thing.
It's just action on the consent agenda.
Okay. Receive, consider the minutes to date. Do I have a motion?
It goes as well.
Oh, I'm sorry. And B, receive, consider the treasurer's report to date. Can I get a motion? Can I get a motion?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All right, how about a motion on the treasurer's report?
Got to vote.
I'm sorry, I know I keep forgetting for both of them. Can I get a vote, all those in favor of it? Aye, all right. Unanimous.
And then I'll just motion to adjourn.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
7:15.
I second
All
it.
right.